has won the World Cup titles in most of the leagues he's played in from all around the world. He's Arsenal's all-time highest goal scorer, a legend, part of the Invincibles, and of course, a Champions League winner. Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined in studio by Thierry Henry.
A round of applause.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thierry, this is obviously a huge moment for us to have you in studio, but why have you come down here to slum it in South Africa with us?
Well, an easy one for me. You know, there's the viewing of the Champions League tomorrow, organized by Heineken, and Heineken will be celebrating and supporting the game of football for a very long time, particularly sponsoring the Champions League. So it was a no-brainer for me. You know, an easy one to say yes. Yeah,
listen, it's always about unmissable moments when it comes to the Champions League, and that's why Heineken got behind it. In 2006 Champions League final with Arsenal versus Barca, Barca just scored. Your goalie had been sent off. How were you feeling in that moment?
What's going through your head?
You know, it was kind of weird because we went there not conceding goals, and we arrived after almost, I think it was 2 minutes or something like that, where the dynamic of the final changed straight away because you have to change. I think Robert Pires came off, and the game had to change. And we went 1-0 up, playing with 10 men. But, you know, as you know, how Barca keeps the ball and pass it around, it became a bit difficult in the last 15. And you know, you're looking at the time, pretty tired. And then you're like, okay, 20 more minutes, 15 more minutes. Then they equalize and they win it at the end. Yeah, very, very difficult to take. But, you know, you can't throw away also the run that we had. But I'm the guy that always think that the most important thing is to win when you compete. Yeah. When you go and have fun with friends, the most important thing is to participate, right? And let's have fun. Yeah. But when there's no fun in it, the most important thing for me is to win. And so it was a tough one, especially, you know, Arsenal never won it, and we could have been the first team to do it, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, sure, okay.
Talking about Arsenal very briefly, you by chance saw Arsene Wenger on a plane, and you said to him that you wanted to play at Arsenal, and then the rest pretty much is history.
I'm impressed that you know that. That's exactly what happened. He came to see a game at Juve at the time. We were playing against Udinese, and I took the same plane back to go to Paris because I was going home and he was going to Paris. I don't know what he was going to do, but I expressed my desire to leave Juve, and then I wanted to play for Arsenal because something happened there with an old director of Juventus, with a little argument or whatever it was, and I said to him, I want to play for Arsenal, and the rest is history.
And then here you are, the greatest, most goals scored for Arsenal. I mean, that's amazing. It's epic.
Yeah, it is, but I don't know if I can say it is without mentioning the guys that I played with, because you can't achieve that playing with great players in and around you. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you know, goals are important if you win games. Let's put it this way. And at the end of the very day, the most important thing for me is that we won stuff together. Forget about the goals. If they were important, so be it. I always say that if they were not important, you know, obviously you count them, but you shouldn't be counting those goals.
Thierry Henry, I want to ask you something. We know you as the footballer. You've lived an amazing life, entertaining so many across the world. I want to ask you, if you weren't a footballer, is there anything else that you'd maybe do? Would you maybe Thierry Henry Bakery? You know, Thierry Henry or the rapper. We know you love rap music, you know.
I'll stay in my lane. I was made for that, I guess. I was built for that. Yeah. You know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you a story, because it will be a story. It will be a fantasy. It will be something else. All I had in my head was this. Yeah. What I did. So I can sit here and say I might. No, it will be me inventing a story. And say I can sit here and you wouldn't know. I said that would have been a great this, and great this and a great that. I won't lie. I'm not going to say I don't know what I could have been. Yeah. But I know what I became, and that's one of the most important things through hard work. So I guess I was made for that. It worked out, and I'm happy with it. But every time people ask me that question, I'm like, I can tell you a lie if you want, but I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Thierry, so just talking about football, being involved in it, when I was a kid, I bought FIFA, which was in 2002, I think. Yeah. And you were on the cover. I want to know, have you ever played with yourself on FIFA?
I actually, You threw me off with that one, actually, with the way you phrased that. You're laughing. It was a bit weird, but anyway, in FIFA,
yes.
In FIFA, yes. It was kind of weird. You know what? You guys, you talk about 2002. I go back in my time where we had no names. When I was playing console, no names.
Yeah, no names. You just played with the players.
Just 10 players ready to go.
Fake players, fake names, fake this, fake also graphics. You know, they were like
playing with rectangles.
They were not great. The player was facing that way, but yet when he was shooting, he was still going on target. It was kind of weird. Anyway, anyhow. So for me, at the beginning, just having my name in the game, I was like, oh wow, my name in the game.
Yes.
And then obviously you try to see if you look actually like the character looks like you, and then you know the rest is history now, because it actually looks like a game when you see guys playing.
Ridiculous.
So I had a tough time. You guys had it growing up, I guess easy, but it did happen. But usually when I used to play, I don't play anymore. But when I used to play, I used to try to play with other teams.
Yeah. Thierry Henry, we've got a lot of female listeners that listen to the show.
Big fans of the Champions League, big fans of football.
But then there's obviously some ladies who don't watch football, and one of them is our producer. And when she heard that you were coming to the show, she said, "Oh my goodness, he's one of the most beautiful men in the entire world." And I said, "Okay, well, thank you for taking that from me." But I wanted to know, can you say something in French just for the ladies, something that's beautiful?
Or plain. Just make it sound
French is such a beautiful language.
I don't know. Qu'est-ce que tu veux que je te dise? Je sais pas. Je vais parler de mon arrivée.
What does that mean?
I'm just saying I'm going to talk about me arriving here. So. Non, je vais parler de mon arrivée en Afrique du Sud quand on est ici. Toujours reçu un accueil chaleureux. Les gens sont toujours
okay. Enough.
I think the lady, you've given them too much now. You've given them too much.
Thierry,
I have nothing to do with me speaking French. That's where I was born, you know. So I'm not taking any credit on anything.
Thierry, I want to ask you quickly. You were working as an assistant with Belgium. Did you feel a little bit like a traitor? Because that semi-final, it was was Belgium versus France. Did your emotions play with you, or were you just like, I'm doing my job here?
No, you shut it down. It was, as you can imagine, a bit weird. a lot weird, because you usually play against your old club because it's going to happen. But you never play against your national team.
Yes.
You know, it was kind of weird, but you have to do what you have to do. You're working with people, and you have to be respectful also with the people that welcomed you. And, you know, it was a weird moment, I won't lie, but then it is where it is, and we moved on from that. It was weird, you know, especially at the national anthem. It was weird.
Oh, no, I mustn't sing now.
Yeah.
Was weird.
We know you've traveled really, really far, and you're going to be doing a lot of interviews today. You're going to be interviewed out by the time the game starts tomorrow. So we're going to flip it a bit on its head, and we're going to let you interview us, but we're going to act as Thierry Henry. You're going to act as us. So you're going to have to try to do our accent, and you can ask us anything, and we'll try and do it.
No, I'm not going to try to do the accent. That's for sure. I have myself an accent. So anyway,
we could give you a few South African words. So that you could try. So there's a South African word called lekker,
which means fantastic.
No, that
amazing.
I know.
Okay.
You know, I understand. I don't know how you're gonna take that one, but I understand Dutch a bit.
Yeah.
Lekker.
Oh, Dutch. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
We, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, a bit.
a bit. Yeah.
A bit. Lekker. I know. We know lekker.
Okay.
But no. So are we starting now?
Yeah. So you have to ask us a question, and I'm gonna try and do a French accent. What would you like to know?
I cannot do the South African accent. So anyway, anyhow, so it's gonna be a fake me interviewing a fake me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so listen. So Thierry,
yeah,
who do you think is gonna win the final, or who deserves it the most?
I think it's who deserves it most. I have to be honest with you. Liverpool has played a phenomenal game. I think they are definitely the stronger team, but I would like to see the history books being made and Tottenham winning their first Champions League. And for me,
that's when I know you're faking, because I will never say that.
Okay, all right, okay.
You're a liar, Thierry. You will never say that.
How would you answer that?
No, to be fair, let's all be honest. I don't like to predict games.
Yeah.
I don't like to predict games because, as we have seen this year in the Champions League, even more so this year in the Champions League, it's very difficult to predict it. Saying that, Liverpool went to the final back-to-back, so they're showing that it can be some consistency in it, and Real Madrid won it 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
So there is some type of consistency still in it, and usually you would like to think that the so-called favorite in bracket, 8 times out of 10 usually wins it, right?
Yeah.
But we've seen this year, we've seen in the history of the Champions League, or big tournament, like Leicester won, Greece won, Denmark won.
Yeah.
Dortmund beat Juve back in the days. I don't know if you guys remember that one, but it was back in the days. Liverpool came back against Milan. So we know a comeback can happen or an upset can happen.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to talk. What I like to talk about is when I see the starting lineup, when I start to see the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I can give you an idea.
Then.
Yet.
Yeah.
Still, you don't know what can happen at the end, especially this year, of what might
happen.
Okay. Other than that, what we do is speculate and talk about stuff, and which I understand that people are like, who's going to win? Who deserves to win?
Yeah.
When I hear the word deserving, it bothers me a bit. Why? I tell you why. Because at the end of the day, when you have your hands on the cup, I tell you how much you deserved it.
Yeah. That's
because
true.
deserving, what's deserving?
Yeah.
So, I'm an admirer of what Pochettino and Klopp are doing. It's outstanding, don't get me wrong. But you have a team that got 98 points. And I hear everybody says, 97 should have been enough. No. The team got 98.
Yeah, jeez.
So, I'm sorry. So I'm saying what I'm saying. A team got 98, so surely they deserve it.
Okay,
So what I'm saying is the team that wins, however they win it, and then you can say, they were lucky. But we talk about the luck and the deserve being part when they win.
Okay.
Thierry, how's that moment holding the cup? So
it's crazy. You know what? I always say, football is kind of weird. Is if you put it in a year, is a year of suffering for 5 seconds of joy.
Oh, that is the most beautiful thing I've heard.
Because you guys, what you see is you will remember that.
Yeah.
Right? You remember, you remember when we leave the cup, where were you or whatever. But you guys don't know about what goes through in the dressing room. When the guy has a personal problem, when the guy is suffering with whatever, when the guy is playing injured, when the guy is, I don't know, whatever situation, but we know about it in the dressing room, we cover it, and your job as a teammate is to pick your guy up and bring him back in the group.
Yeah.
And when you leave that cup, that's that moment when we look at each other in the eye and we're like, you remember when I was suffering? We don't say it, but that look, that you look at each other and you're like, do you remember when this? Do you remember? So we remember the suffering moment that we had to go through.
To get
but the game is so weird because you have 1 year of suffering, 5 seconds of joy.
Yeah.
Because when you pass that cup and when you put it back down or you put it in your cabinet at your club, everyone who's going to win it next year.
Yeah, somebody else. It could be you
can't.
again.
You can't just enjoy it for 1 second, for 5, shall I say, or what I said before.
Yeah, just
because there's a lot of suffering. There's a lot of work behind the scene that you guys don't see, even when you lose.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Definitely.
But you guys see the final line, and you don't see what. Sometimes we don't share it also.
Yeah.
In all fairness, because you cannot. Because if things comes out sometime of what's happening in a dressing room, whether in a good way or in a bad way, it will be difficult to control. But we know how much we're suffering. So when you grab that cup, you have that 5 second moment, individual moment, because you have to pass the cup along.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's done.
And it's done.
It's done.
Thierry, just before we let you go, you have done some coaching. In our internal soccer league here at work, I'm the reserve goalie. Our last game we played, we lost 21-1. Do you have any advice for our team?
Actually, Terry, don't answer this. I've got some advice. Leave the team. I think that should work.
No. The only thing that I can say is you can definitely improve. That's the way to look at it. Next time,
you can't go
if
down.
you lose 21, you improved.
You've improved.
Yeah,
You're right.
So
that's
19-1, you improved.
You can only get better.
Joking apart, this is when I guess the game becomes fun. This is the way. I'm not having a go, but the way. No, I'm not having a go.
It's fine.
If you're playing to enjoy and have a moment with your friend and try to win a game. That's when I say when you compete, you're trying to win.
Yeah.
there, obviously, I know you want to win, but I think the part of being with your friends, having a love, being sociable, also, that's the part of the game also that us competitors sometimes have a difficult moment to appreciate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when you talk about competition, I'm sorry, the most important thing is to win. When there is no cup at the end or no glory at the end, we can. That's why, to answer to your question, that's why it's very difficult for me to play games when there's nothing to get at the end, because my competitiveness is not in.
Yeah.
And I'm me when there's a competition.
Fantastic.
So enjoy it. The most important thing, enjoy it. And 21 is an improvement instead of 21-1.
Maybe there's too many Heinekens after and before the game.
Yeah,
as well.
definitely.
Thierry Henry, thank you so much for joining us in studio. Enjoy the game on Saturday.
I will.
And enjoy our wonderful country. Thanks for coming through.
I will. Thanks for having me.
Thank you,
guys. Thank you.
If you love Joburg, 947 loves you.